I mean, I'm glad that things are changing in the way people are viewing creativity and their own inner needs. My big story was, walking out of a very limited and painful family life. The only way I could express it was through my art for decades. After I left my parents, I was shut off. I was shut off from the real world. I had gone into this two-dimensional space, and I was shut down. And so my art was my way of expressing this stuff. But then in 1984 or 3, I read a story about a woman who knew that Arshile Gorky had painted murals all throughout the Newark airport, and they weren't there. For 2 years she looked, and one day she saw a little thread coming out of a wire. It turns out that these paintings had been painted over 22 times, Arshile Gorky. So I thought, you know what? I wonder if I could discover my own past. I had no memories at all. I started to do these drawings and something I could remember. My friend Gentry had a bread truck, and my friends would go and smoke pot in high school. And so I drew the chain link fence and the bread truck, and then these memories started to come. And I started to draw, and they got darker and darker. And so for years I did that. And then when James Cox came over to my apartment, I ended up showing him this stuff. And I had all this really, really dark stuff that had occurred in my childhood, and he showed it. And and I was madly in love with my parents. So it was especially difficult to face the fact that they weren't nurturing parents in an extreme manner. It's learning a new vocabulary and a new way of believing in future. It's funny, I have this plant, I saved my mother's. She had this huge corn plant, I think it's called. She died in 2011, and I never saw it bloom. I heard it was supposed to be fragrant. Well, it's blooming. I can't believe it. I walk into the studio, I'm like, what is that fragrance? It's blooming. I find that's like a symbol, like, hey, there's a thumbs up. Keep going.